Heyo, we are back. Oh, Nick, I love it. That's all he's been talking about, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's a Lion podcast, but Deadpool and the Wolverine just came out. Per Nick and also a good friend of the show, Mike Payton, was a phenomenal movie. Gonna get to try to see it this weekend. Julius, I don't know if you're too big into Marvel movies. Have you seen any or?
I've seen many of them, but I'm not like a Marvel guy. I'm Marvel head, you know.
This movie it doesn't require to be a Marvel head. Just
I plan on watching it. I heard great things about it.
Gory.
You said it's possibly top two Marvel. That's crazy. That's crazy.
There's a lot of good Marvel movies out there. I put it in at least the top 3, possibly top 2, dude. It's just great. But I don't want to set the expectations too high. But it's hard. Like if you go on tomato meter or whatever it is,
Rotten Tomatoes,
I get 81% from the critics, but a 98% from the fans. Like all the fans love it, dude. It's exactly what you want. It's great.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Good to hear. All right. Well, we got a little short episode for you guys here. So we're just gonna dive right into things because we had some breaking news today.
Breaking news!
Now, unfortunately, that seems like it's going to be good breaking news, but it was not. Michael Badgley tore his hamstring out for the season, will be placed on IR, and that thrust Jake Bates, Michigan Panthers superstar, into the number 1 kicking option, I guess. So the Lions did bring in a few other guys to try out. Amongst were Matt Amendola, he played for the Jets, and a couple other teams bounced around for a minute. Lucas Havrisic, I've heard his name a little bit. Matthew McCrane, and then Andre Smite. These are tough last names, man. But nonetheless, I think one of these dudes, either Matthew or Andre, were one of the other UFL kickers, either like the second best one next to Jake Bates. So it would be interesting if we had, the 2 best UFL kickers on our team. You got to imagine one pans out. But boys, what are some of your thoughts? Julius, we'll start with you first. Are you concerned at all? Do you think Jake Bates can come into this, role being his first season in the NFL and, not have any struggles early on and kind of, thrive in it?
We'll see in the preseason, because I'm not ready to anoint him king of kickers, the next Matt Prater, the next Jason Hanson, until I see him do it in the NFL. I saw him do it last year in the USFL or the UFL. I forgot which one he was in, but I'm excited about having a kicker that can kick further than 50 yards. He seems like he has ice cold blood in his veins, and he's going to have to show us that he can do it on this level.
Oh, Nick's muted now. Oh,
Nick never gets muted, man.
Julius can finally rejoice as Nick
it's been a while for Nick.
Rarely mutes himself. Me and Julius.
I never mute myself. I'm at my grandma's house. She's got a clock that just sings Christmas music every hour. It just hit 6 o'clock. So I was like, oh, well, no one needs to hear Frosty the Snowman. Let me mute myself. Son of a bee sting. All right. I'll take the L on that one. Jake Bates, though, better not be taking any L's. The most interesting thing is kicking in front of, I don't know, 2 to 5,000 people is much different than 60+ thousand people. And even when he's kicking, it's not like it's going to be this roar in Ford Field, right? It'll be very quiet. We know what to do as fans in Ford Field, but trying to win a game, let alone outside or inside, but on the road. If you're in Houston trying to win a game on Sunday Night Football or whatever, or if it's Monday night, if Bates wins this competition and it's Sunday night, week 1 against the Rams, everyone's watching, and you have to kick the game winning, even if there isn't. That's not just 60,000 people watching you in the stadium. That is millions. That is millions of people, and he knows that's in his back of his mind. There was not millions of people watching one UFL game, let alone the championship or any of his 64+ yard field goals. So that is what I'm most interested in. However, I still think he pans out. I do like him. I think this kid could end up being our I don't want to try to compare him to like Sebastian Janikowski for any old farts out there, or the Justin Tuckers, Matt Praters. I'm not expecting that, but what I am expecting is like we'll bring up another older name, like Ryan Longwell, Mason Crosby from Green Bay. Just give me someone who's freaking
I don't want
consistent.
Mason Crosby.
What?
So I don't want Mason Crosby comparisons. He was Mr.
He's the
hanging the
fourth
crossbar every single time he played the
He like
Lions.
sucked against Detroit for sure, but I mean the dude played for like a decade with Green Bay. Legitimately, I don't care about his 64-yarders. I don't, because we aren't going to be kicking that many of them. I never think there's going to be a time in the day where Dan Campbell kicks a 60-yard field goal plus. If he can knock a 58-yarder down, we'll give him the opportunities a few times. But this is still Dan Campbell's team. We've already been practicing our fourth downs throughout training camp. I just hope he's consistent, dude. Just do what Michael Badgley was doing. Honestly, I predicted Badgley to win. I think in our roster projections, I was the only one too. And it's just because I liked his consistency. Give me consistency out of Bates, and that's all I need, and I'll be happy. But I'm a little nervous. I mean, it's just like San Fran was probably nervous last year having Jake Moody be their kicker. It's like, and then he went out and missed like his first game winner. It's like, shit. I don't know. Like, just as long as he's good by the home stretch, that's really all I care about.
Hey, quick random fact, Nick. You mentioned Sebastian Janikowski. I believe he was the last kicker to get drafted in the first round, and I believe the Raiders traded to get him.
Yep. And he kicked for him for like 16 years. Ultimately, it was a pretty damn good first-round draft pick comparatively to all the Raiders, all the Raiders' other first-round draft picks, including like Jamarcus Russell and
Darius Hayward-Bay, Ruggs. There's a list, man.
A ton of them.
Aaron McFadden,
Alex Leatherwood.
Man. There's a Clinton Farrell. He's kind of doing okay, but he was the fourth.
He can fall in the bad first-round pick. They drafted him at like 3 overall or something because Mike McShay loved him, dude.
He's the reason why I think he pushed Hawk to us, is what happened to us. That's hilarious.
Damn, he almost pushed Ed Oliver to us then, because Ed Oliver was the guy we all wanted to get, and he went the pick before us to Buffalo.
No.
Right?
No, it was Josh Allen.
Oh, that's what it was. And he went to Jags. Yeah. My fault. Yeah.
Ed Oliver was, I think there was a similar thing where it was like he was picked 2 picks before us to Buffalo.
Yeah.
I do remember that. But anyways, my takeaway of Jake Bates, yes, Badgley going down sucks because it gives, it gave Jake Bates some competition, some reason to like, all right, I have to practice. I have to get my shit together. I cannot afford a miss because, this Badgley's the guy. I'm just here for, to see what I can do. Now, hopefully it's not in the back of his mind that he's like, I've won this job. This is mine now. They've already signed me to a contract and they're bringing in these random ass veterans and I doubt they're going to be good. So I hope Jake Bates doesn't, slack a bit. I hope he still stays the course, just practice. But another thing, I think he's either going to flame out and just be, just a one-hit wonder, I guess, or a UFL wonder with his 64-yarders, or I think he's going to be an absolute Justin Tucker. And I don't think there's going to be a middle ground because this dude has the leg, and if you can kick 64-yarders like that, you got some leg power, man. You can, be consistent if you get it down. If he just gets that, that it's tough to compare him to Justin Tucker, but I'm kind of just giving it.
Okay, go ahead.
No, but Tucker,
I think I might have a better comparison for you in your Young Wei Koo, whoever you want to say it. Came from the CFL and just did what he needed to do in Atlanta. So it's not Justin Tucker, you know what I mean? But he's a damn good kicker,
And Bates, I like him. I think he's going to be solid. I do think we are going to see at least one double whammy, a 55-yarder plus double whammy in which the Lions get the ball back, 15 seconds left in the second quarter, and we throw, 2 passes, get it to like the 40-yard line and kick a 55, 57-yarder as time expires. Then we get the ball back in the second half. So both those things need to happen for the old double whammy. But if it does, I'll be taking my victory laps. So Bates, I think he gives us that little scenario where I feel like Dan Campbell, might be a little more aggressive if we have, 20 seconds on the clock, we're up by a touchdown, Goff's looking good. We can kind of, maybe see if we can let him kick a 64-yarder or something. And that brings me to my next point where this dude can hit back-to-back 64-yarders, which he did in that one UFL game where he hit the 64-yarder. He hit one, they called timeout, and then he hit another one. And both kicks were damn near right down the middle. The second one was just a tiny bit on the right side, but still money. So that makes me believe that could this guy hit like a 65, 66, 67-yarder where there's just 1 second on the clock? Maybe the Lions get an interception or something, and it's either Hail Mary or 67-yarder. And I guess, I don't know, now that we have J-Mo, that Hail Mary becomes a little more in play. But I wouldn't be opposed to, trying a long-ass field goal. So I think we are going to see at least one over-under. Do we see 162-yard field goal attempt by Jake Bates?
I'll take the under.
Under, interesting.
I'll
Julius?
take the over.
So attempt, it doesn't have to make it.
Right.
Okay.
And you're talking about regular season only.
I'm about to say preseason no count.
Yeah, no, free count.
I could see one in preseason. I don't see any happening in the I don't think Dan Campbell ever kicked field goal over 60 yards, ever.
Interesting.
I feel like if they get a healthy lead in the game and they're in that position, if they're up a few touchdowns or a couple touchdowns, instead of going, why not give them a shot?
It's got to be like a 4th and 15, 4th and 20 for that to be the case.
At midfield, yeah.
At midfield.
Yeah, but if there's 3 seconds left, then, it doesn't matter if it's 4th and 2, 4th and 15, because, clock's going to expire anyways. And I feel like I kind of agree with you, Nick, but I think it'll have to be the right scenario in which it'll be, a 14-point game and it pushes this to a 3-score lead, but for the Lions, or it pushes it to a 2-score lead or something like that, where, it gives us a little over the top.
I'll agree to disagree. I think at that moment, and pretty much any moment ever, if it's going to be a 61 or more yard field goal, we bring on Jack Fox and we try to knock him down. We try to knock him back. Or if we're trying to win the game at the very end, it's a Hail Mary, not a field goal. But that's just my personal opinion, and we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
we'll see. Who knows?
And I mean, if we aren't kicking field goals, that means offense is doing good, because if the offense is struggling, I can't imagine Dan Campbell starting off the season, 0 for 5 on 4th downs and field goal range, and then continuing to go for it. I feel like he might adjust. I know. Oh, yeah. I kind of back talking, but I do feel like he would tweak it a little bit, just be like, hey, we need points, because he kind of did that in I want to say the 49ers game, or maybe it was the Bucs game. Anyways, regardless, we had some camp noise, boys. J-Mo seems like he is the talk of the town right now. We have Iffy hyping him up. We have Terrion Arnold hyping him up. Jared Goff hyping him up. Amon-Ra hyping him up. All these B reporters, everybody. And so my initial thought was, oh yeah, they're these are a couple guys hyping up their boy. Then it got me thinking, no. There's too many people that are on this hype train. They didn't all, come together and say, hey, we got to all hype up J-Mo, get his confidence up to make sure he's an elite player. I truly believe that he's doing some good work on the field. He's, I feel like he's practicing harder than he was last year, given him throwing up on the field. So, he's doing something a little harder with that, or he's eating those Frosty McDoubles again before practice. But nonetheless, Nick, do you think is this any uptick for J-Mo, or are you still kind of on the same, like, yeah, I think he's going to have a good season? Or is this something where you're like, oh, let's go?
J-Mo. I'm on record of last year saying I just stopped caring. I didn't care whether he was good or bad. I didn't care. If he's good, awesome. If he's bad, swing and a miss. What are you going to do? Then he really started to come through in the second half of the season. And I went on record saying he'll catch over 1,000 yards this year. It's just so tough, dude. Like, Goff's going to look ASB Laporta, and then it's either J-Mo Gibbs or Monty or Green, or whoever is on the field at that point. But those are your first 2 looks, are ASB and Laporta. And if you're already looking at your third option, normally that third option isn't someone that's running down the field. That is when you start looking at Gibbs. J-Mo reads, Goff is good at going through progression, but most of the time likes to hit the guy that he is supposed to hit. So we have to have plays drawn up for him. That is on Ben Johnson. That is not on Jameson Williams or Jared Goff, in my opinion. The way this team plays and the way Jared Goff plays, Jameson Williams' success will go hand in hand with Ben Johnson scheming plays to get him the ball. I think he's going to be fantastic this year. I think there's a chance he leads the team in receiving yards over ASB. I'm not going to predict that, but I do think there's a chance.
That's a hot take.
It surely is. But the fact of the matter is Jared Goff went hard to J-Mo in the playoffs. He just did. And J-Mo did everything to prove his worth to the team, to the coaches, to the quarterback. So the question at hand was, where am I, like what my temperature gauge is, I guess, basically on J-Mo. And it's hot right now, dude. I'm all in on J-Mo. That shit is spicy, caliente. I'm here for J-Mo. I don't think there's going to be a fantasy football team that I have that doesn't have J-Mo. And if that means I have to draft that motherfucker in the 5th or 6th round, I'm going to do it, because I truly think, I don't know, man. 352 yards last year. People look at it and they're just going to sleep on him. There's like a chance. I think J-Mo's going in like the 11th or 12th round right now. Like, go get Jameson Williams. He is going to be a freak of nature this year. So I'm all in on him. I'm ready to be hurt. I'm ready to be hurt because I have the utmost expectations for him this year.
I'm right with you, Nick. I've been preaching that J-Mo will be on multiple. He'll be one of the most popular players on championship teams, based off the fact that his value is just ridiculous. You could essentially get an elite wide receiver 2 in fantasy football on your team in like the 10th, 11th round. So, Julius, I'm gonna flip you with a different question. J-Mo's over under his yards just came out. FanDuel has him at 650. You think he hits that?
I think Jameson Williams shows us the way to 1,000 yards. I can see him having right around 1,000. Matter of fact, boys, I can remember as a kid, Joey Harrington one year had 3 1,000-yard receivers, and they won like 5 games. Roy Williams, Mike Fury, and Mike Williams, I believe, were the 3, and it didn't do us shit. So to me, I feel like Jameson is just hiding in plain sight. And then the way he ended last year, we already know how good he was. I mean, but now we're seeing him in training camp. He looks better. And so he's going to be open. And Jared Goff, whether they run write up plays for him or not, he's gonna know that J-Mo. He's gonna know the type of weapon he has on the field. Of course, you got Laporta and Amon-Ra, but this brings a whole nother dynamic, right? Honestly, I don't want to see any kind of big-time injuries that would allow J-Mo to just totally take over and shine. But that might be what it takes to get people to realize if he's the number one option on the field all of a sudden, then people would know. But I think the Lions can make it work with all the weapons they have because Ben Johnson is the best offensive coordinator in the league. They've been doing
Tell him to bring me my money. Yeah!
Every time.
Ben Johnson, gonna get paid.
Injuries withstanding, this offense just has the most weapons I've ever seen.
It is crazy. It is crazy how many weapons we have. Like it's scary. Gibbs is so fast, and so is J-Mo. Monty is so good at being the motor as like a Devin Singletary, just a runner. Amon-Ra St. Brown is your perfect possession receiver. Sam Laporta, maybe the best tight end in the NFL actively right now. Then the offensive line has a chance to be the best offensive line in the last decade, if not more. You know what I mean? Like it's nuts, dude. It is nuts.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Nick, on the Ben Johnson take. Ben Johnson kind of schemed some things up in that 49ers game, even in the last the whole playoff run, where right off the bat it was J-Mo end around touchdown, and that's something that teams saw. Every team was watching that game. Ben Johnson realizes it, and now it's like, okay, well, we have to keep an eye on JMO for an end around, and we also have to keep an eye on Gibbs because he's fast. He could do something, and we have to keep an eye on the play action because Amon-Ra could come across the middle and catch anything, and then Sam Laporta, he could be open at any moment because he just.
Panay Sewell could be open at any moment. You know what I mean?
So yeah, I think
Yes.
Ben Johnson's gonna work some decoying up, man. I feel like we're gonna see. I was talking this a lot last year of just Gibbs and JMO doing a lot of motion. They did do a little bit, but I think we're gonna see, Gibbs go to one side, then JMO takes it to the other, just vice versa, where they bounce off each other. But yeah, 650 yards. I think that's a smash over. I think Vegas is gonna be looking at that line thinking, "Ooh, that was a little low."
There is a chance. So the Lions play the Rams week 1, and the Rams just lost starting cornerback something or other for the season after a torn ACL. So what do? They go and try to not poach, but they try to go and get as much intel on the Lions as they can so they don't get embarrassed and Ford Field yet again. And they go sign, not friend of the show, Mr. Blocked the Honolulu Blues seatbelt gang, Jerry Jacobs. So there's a chance that JMO has like 200 yards right out of gate 1, right? Week 1.
Answer this question, guys. I would say yes and yes.
Is Gibbs first round fantasy draft pick for anyone listening on Spotify, or what about St. Brown? St. Brown, absolutely first round draft pick, probably going to be a top 6 pick. Gibbs, absolutely first round pick, probably be a top 10 pick. Adam, do you know what their ADPs are right now?
I believe Gibbs is right at like the 10 to 14 range, kind of dependent on the format and who you're drafting with, I guess. I will say it's going to be, if you're in a fantasy league with some Detroit buddies, you better be prepared to reach because there's for sure one guy in there that's thinking, I'm going to take him with the second overall pick. And you're looking at him, boys. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. I have the choice to take in my high school league, been going on 10 years. I have the choice to take whatever pick I want except for pick number 1, and I really, really want Gibbs. So I'm going back and forth between 2 and 3, and if I take 3 and someone takes Gibbs at 2, so be it. I'll go, Bijan or someone else. But
St. Brown.
Yeah, actually.
Speaking of that, my dad, we've done a fantasy league. We're going into our 25th year this year. Greg, who we just posted a comment about, he's in the league. We keep 2 people. No repercussions or anything. It's just your first 2 picks. You keep 2 people. My dad was debating between Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb. Traded away CeeDee Lamb. He keeping his and you're exactly right, Adam. If you're in a league with Lions fans, you are reaching. But here's the thing. This is the perfect year to reach for every single Detroit Lions player. It is similar to what Miami was last year. If you went and reached for Tua and Tyreek and Waddle and Mostert, and even like Devon A-Chain later in your draft, and you just started them week after week, your fantasy team probably made it to the playoffs, maybe sputtered towards the end because Miami kind of fell a little bit towards the end. But your first 8 weeks, especially when they put up 70 on the Broncos, you were great. And it's the same thing with Detroit. Detroit will have a top 2 offense, whether it's 1 or 2, and whether it's with Miami, Kansas City, Baltimore, who knows? But those are your top 4 offenses in the NFL this year. It's picked out. It doesn't matter. You can maybe try to argue Philly would be up there. Maybe San
49ers.
No, I don't think San Fran. I don't think San Fran scores enough points to be up there. They just have an amazing defense, though they did get rid of Eric Armstead. There's a lot of questions over in San Fran this year, I kind of think, especially with the Ayuk holding in or whatever it is. Like, there's just a lot of questions. They have a first-round draft pick and Ricky Pearsall, like, hoping that he'd be – I don't know. Like, is Brock Purdy who we think he is? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of questions. So I would say risking your fantasy season on reaching for Detroit for the first time since Matt Stafford's heyday is – it's a great thing to do. Go reach for every single player that you can think of.
Now, we'll say, don't try to get every single line.
No. Pick some few that you want. Yeah.
Because although every Lions player, Monty Gibbs, Laporta, JMO, and Amon-Ra has the potential to hit their max, Amon-Ra 1,500, JMO 1,000, Gibbs, 2,000. It's not possible for all these guys to pop off. Someone will get more.
75 points a game, baby.
I don't know. It's like maybe Laporta gets all the touchdowns.
Listen,
Debo
they're going
and
to take
Thomas
turns going off, bro.
Yes, they are.
Monty is going to go off one game, and then Gibbs going to go off the next game. Sam, and then Laporta going to go off the next game. Waymo going to have a career game after that. The whole time, Jared Goff is eating.
And, he might be the one to get your Goff, get the safety net Goff with your last pick. I don't think anyone's drafting. I mean, I don't know. Goff, maybe he's like a 10th, 11th round pick right now.
Goff is one of my favorite fantasy quarterbacks this year. Yes, he will be a late round guy, but like I said, if you're in a fan league with Michiganders, be prepared to, draft him a round or two early. Do not think twice about that because Goff is playing in a dome every single game, but 3 games. And I want to say the 3 games are like either warm weather or like early in the season.
I'm stopping this conversation, damn it. We're here to talk training camp news and notes. We've done one thing, and we have to end the show in like 10 minutes. So let's just run through
let's flip it. Brian Branch, let's talk some defense, boys. He's been getting lots of looks at safety. It seems like he's transitioning into the safety spots. We also have Emmanuel Mosley and Amik Robertson playing in the nickel spot, which it will be new because, Branch, I believe, played the nickel last year, right? Yeah, so a little change up in the secondary, but I think this is going to be awesome. Brian Branch has shown he can be, fast, versatile, all around the field, getting interceptions, tipping it to himself, doing everything, and I cannot wait for the safety blitzes because when he was playing cornerback, it's tough to do a cornerback blitz because when you're right on the line, you give up the dude right away. So if the quarterback sees it, he gets it, But if he doesn't, he gets the blind side. A safety blitz gives you the chance to be like a Troy Polamalu, let the line kind of space out, and then boom, Branch hits that hole and just hits Jordan Love or Caleb Williams or JJ McCarthy.
And we saw Iffy do that. Just at the back end last year. I believe he finished with 2 sacks. Like, yeah, absolutely. Plus, you got Emmanuel Mosley beating out Amik Robertson right now for the nickel position, getting more reps at the 1. That's awesome, dude. I've been waiting 2 long years to see this kid play. Like it was, and I love Amik Robertson. I loved him when we signed him. To put Branch and Iffy battling it out for safety, the way we had so many cornerbacks, we were all like, we need a safety. Like right now, our backup safety is freaking Brandon Joseph, who sure, hopefully he's awesome, but like, what are we doing? We got rid of Tracy Walker. It's like we don't have any safety. We moved Branch to safety, who was a safety / cornerback coming out of Alabama. This is not new to him by any way, shape, or form. It is phenomenal. We saw the defense lock down today, or at least we read about it, because there was no big play touchdowns, very few touchdowns scored overall. After the first 2 days were an onslaught of offense, the defense is starting to catch up. Maybe it's because JMO wasn't there today, but regardless, defense won the day, so it's just happy to see it, and I love that our secondary. I love the Branch moving over. You can put Branch at freaking linebacker. I would take him on the edge opposite of Hutchinson. I bet he still would be phenomenal with his green freaking off guard. So.
Well, you know what moving Branch to safety does for him? It frees him up because the Lions and Aaron Glenn really like 70 to 80% of their plays. They play with as one safety high, and they have the other safety as a roamer, either come down and run support, blitz, shaded zones, all kind of things. So it's just going to let Branch just have free reign pretty much over what he sees on the field and how he want to react to it instead of keeping him locked down kind of in that slot, following slot receivers around and doing whatnot. It's gonna free Branch up, and he might have the biggest year on the Lions defense.
Yep.
I think it's gonna create a lot of, players just being able to play better because the secondary is gonna be better. I feel like how many times, boys, did we see Hutchinson literally get to the quarterback right as he's throwing the ball, right as he, just threw it? I feel like Hutch had 5 to 8 sacks, where if the quarterback just held on to it for half a second, even, where if the defenders, were locking down, it was a sack guaranteed. So I think we are going to see Hutch have a monster breakout year. He's also kind of our only dominant edge rusher. The latest news is we are trying out Levi Onwuzurike at left end. So, boys, do you think Levi can finally turn the corner, make a splash? He played a little bit last year coming off that back injury. It's either win or go home for him. So Julius, you think Levi can make a splash, or do you think, he's just kind of going to fizzle out like all the other second-round picks we've had?
I don't know. I got to see it. I just have not saw him do anything of note in the last few years other than get injured, So preseason is big for him. Let me see some impact plays, Levi Orzawerke, former second-round pick. Let me see him. Other than that, he's on a questionable list. He might not even make the team as far as I'm concerned. That's how deep the Lions roster is right now.
Yeah. Yep. He was my biggest name on my cut list on our roster projection. Did read something today that he brought some intensity. There was a couple scuffles here and there. One of them did include Orzawerke, which is good. Do everything, show everything, because this is it. You're right. This is it. We have Broderick Martin. We have James Houston, Betts, and all these guys that we've been bringing in. We'll see how. The biggest thing is, does Tyrell Williams like him, our new defensive line coach? If he sees something in him, the same thing we saw when we drafted him in the second round, then maybe he can get the most out of him. You can never say someone's dead. After Iffy came Undertakered out of the casket last year and just became a monster, you not him, but damn near won us our division with the interception against Nick Mullins throwing to Justin Jefferson. After I saw that, I put Iffy with like Will Harris and like guys that were just never going to succeed. And it is what it is. What are you going to do? And to see like the time and patience that we had with them, the same thing could be done for Levi. I'm no longer putting anyone out, but what Julius just said is exactly right. Show me in preseason. You got 10 days until our first preseason, 11 days till our first preseason game. 11 freaking days until we watch our Detroit Lions go up against the New York Giants. That's exciting, but who's going to stand out? Hendon Hooker, Sion Vaki, Levi Orzawerke. I want these guys to come out just ripping it up. I don't need to win 100-0 by any means. In fact, I don't care if we lose. I wouldn't mind a loss in the preseason at all. We beat the Giants last year in preseason on a comeback win by whoever, Blake Martinez, I think our quarterback was. I want to just see these young dudes play. I don't want Nate Sudfeld in that game for a fucking second, dude. I want Hooker all game. I want Orzawerke to play all game. And I want to see what he does against second stringers, maybe first stringers, but second stringers, third stringers, fourth stringers, fifth stringers, and on. And let's see what happens. It's huge. I don't have a lot of faith in him. I still have him off my roster.
I have never been so excited for a Lions preseason game than I am right now. Oh my gosh. It's just like there's 5-10 years ago, it was like, well, first team's out. I think I might know. Oh, yeah, Zach Zetterson. Cool. And now it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to see Vaki play. We're going to see Enos Rakestraw. We're going to see Levi. We're going to see, Matthew Betts. All these guys get opportunities. And, Nick, when you brought up Will Harris, you got me thinking. I think this is the first time where the Lions don't have a single Will Harris on the team. Like, it's just – everybody is a dog, essentially. Everybody has that upside. I don't think there is one dude that's just kind of lingering on the team.
That's a great point, Adam.
Last year we had Jerry Jacobs. Year before, Will Harris. I'm sure there's some other guys. But now it's like we have so much depth, so much talent that even when guys get breaks, some of these, fifth stringers, that cornerbacks, safeties, guys like that are coming in and they'll be solid. They won't, be getting burned, giving up big plays. So I am excited.
Me too. That's great. Come back tomorrow, though. We'll be catching up on all the training camp stuff we didn't get to today. Adam.
Yes, sir. There's a lot too. Here's a little tease. We signed a German defensive tackle. We'll talk about him. We got Hendon Hooker news. A bunch of other stuff too. Gibbs looking good. The wide receiver 3 battle going on. There's all sorts of fun happening. So yeah, we'll have a time probably posted either later today, maybe tomorrow morning, but we'll definitely have a show tomorrow recapping the rest of the training camp, what we missed.
Part 2. Everybody loves a part 2, dude. Sequels always do better in the box office. Part two. All right.
As always, boys and girls, go
Lions!